How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to Red Square. Today we are diving into a cyberpunk themed masterpiece. This is something I always wanted to create ever since I watched movies like Blade Runner 2049 and played games like Cyberpunk 2077. But I was always hesitant because of the complexity involved in creating a sci-fi world. But after seeing what some of my favorite artists have done over the years, I finally gathered the courage to try it out myself. But instead of just creating another cyberpunk city, I decided to bring Neo Gotham to life.
It's a school night, boys and girls. I'm gonna have to call your folks.
Batman Beyond is one of my all-time favorite shows, and I always wanted to create that world while adding my own creative flair. I'll be using assets from video games, Google, and some other sites. Since this video is already quite long, I'll cut out the image using the pen tool part. I'll be starting with this image as the base for my composition.
Cool.
First, I need to create Batman himself. For this, I used some shots from Iron Man from Marvel's Avengers and some from Batman Arkham Knight. I chose Iron Man's Infinity War suit because I wanted to create a Batman similar to his animated series counterpart, while in the Arkham Knight, the suit is kind of like an armored prototype. I cut out the ears separately because I wanted to make the ears a bit longer.
The new boy. Ears are too long and I missed the cape, but not too shabby. Not too shabby at all.
Next, I painted out the unnecessary parts like the repulsors and all the other glowy elements. I turned all the layers black and white and added a temporary shadow for the time being. Using the pen tool, I quickly created the blade catchers for the arms. Terry only got 2 while Bruce has 3. With Batman done, it's time to create the city. I studied a lot of art from the animated series and I noticed that it's not your typical neon-style cyberpunk city. It's very metallic with buildings of various shapes. I also looked at the concept art for the cancelled Batman Beyond movie, which is sad to think about. In those images, there were some holographic signs. Once I finished my research, I had a clear idea of what I wanted to do. Before moving further though, I had to determine where the vanishing point of this image to match the buildings to their correct perspective. Then I created various building shapes inspired by the artworks I studied and started adding them to the main composition. This part was quite difficult since the angle was unusual, but I managed to get a good result out of it. I placed placeholder text for the neon signs like Ace Chemicals and Foxtecca. And combine some shapes to create the far-off buildings. I also used real images, cut them out into similar shapes, and added them into the background. I quickly created building textures and clipped them to the sides of the buildings, using textures from different objects to add detail to the building walls. At this point there were over 100 layers and my... Oh shit! No! Luckily I have saved the projects multiple times and Photoshop recovered most of my work. I decided to remove the circuit design and focus on adding the building texture. Just like with Batman, I made everything grayscale and used a pen tool to draw out the bat wings. Using hue and saturation, I started adding colors, and with exposure I gave some temporary shadows. I added a simple outer glow to the signs using the blending options, but I'll tweak those settings later. For each individual building, I cast shadows and highlights. I used a light ray image to add the glow behind Batman. I also realized I've forgotten to add the utility belt, so I did that as well. I wanted to add a train on the side of the image, so I grabbed a random image from Google and merged them into a more sci-fi train. Then I used an image of a drone to create a flying car. As you can see, my computer started lagging again, and when I try to convert this layer into a smart object, this happens. So I saved everything, restarted, and resumed my work after a quick break. Now, a cyberpunk city wouldn't be complete without some Japanese neon signs, so I added the big signs that says justice and another that says apathy. If you're a fan, you know these words are from the Batman Beyond intro. I hope the translations are correct, but I did get them off of Google Translate. give the scenes a more holographic effect, I added a motion blur and placed a glitch texture above, changing the blend mode to screen. Next, I added highlights to Batman. If you want to learn how I created these realistic highlights, I have a short video on that. For this piece, I used 3 highlight colors: pink from behind, blue from the left, and a little bit of orange on the head. After that, I added exposure adjustment layers for each part of the body to create accurate shadows. I also have a short video on how I create realistic shadows if you want to learn more about that. I repeated the same process for the building and vehicles. I added glowing lines using a technique I saw Encreate use, which he learned from the creator Max Asabin. To add more detail, I applied hexagon patterns to the backgrounds. Finally, it's time to make it rain. I grabbed this rain texture and changed the blending mode to color dodge. Then using a spray brush tool, I added some water drops on Batman. I tried adding droplets for the Batsuit, but it didn't quite work. I enhanced the scene further by adding real water drop images and more textures for some of the buildings. For the vehicles, I converted them into smart objects and added motion blur to make them look like they are speeding by. I also applied Gaussian blur to distant buildings to give a depth of field. To wrap things up, I applied a camera raw filter and we're pretty much done. It's far from perfect, but I'm really happy with the end result. I hope you enjoyed this process as much as I enjoyed creating it. If you did, please hit the subscribe button and check out my other videos. If you're a Marvel and a DC fan, you'll definitely enjoy them. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.
Wish me luck. Good luck.